This season is all about launching your ideas so you can create the life you really want. Because although overwhelm and burnout is not unique to starting a business, the reason we become overwhelmed and burnt out so easily when we launch our own ideas is because we keep the same habits of thinking and patterns of behaviors. So you have to stop that right now. You are listening to the Thriving Empire podcast, a show designed exclusively to help you avoid working 24/7, to help you eliminate overwhelm, and help you live your ultimate life while you figure out how to make money from your ideas. This show should be your number one resource for no-brainer strategies, tactics, and tips for launching your ideas with more ease, vision, and freedom so that you can change the world drama-free. I'm your host, Stephanie Holland, strategist, traveler, and coconut macaroon addict. Welcome to Season 2, Kickstart Your Mini Empire, so that you can create the life you really want. So let's get started. Well, hello and welcome to Season 2. The season is called Kickstart Your Mini Empire. I just finished Season 1, which was a wild 6 months. I loved it so much. I totally fell in love with podcasting. And I shared everything I learned about podcasting with you in the season finale, episode 27. And I'm really excited to dive deep into Season 2. I've got some new goals for this season, which include building my audience and figuring out my business model for the show while continuing to serve you with perspective shifts that really do help you create the life you really want right now. So, NB, if you do love the show, please share it with your friends. And I'll tell you another few ways you can support the show at the end as well. So, the critical question that we're going to begin with is, why don't you have the life you want right now? So, when in the intro I said that we become overwhelmed and burn out so easily when we launch our ideas because we keep the same habits of thinking and patterns of behaviors. What do I mean by that? Well, if we're naturally disorganized, if we consistently let others down, if we often don't follow through on our own goals, if we put things off, if we procrastinate, if we feel like an imposter, if we overcommit, if we don't take extraordinary care of ourselves, and the list could go on, but you get the drift, then we bring those same habits, patterns, behaviors, thoughts, and perspectives to our new business. And of course, they don't translate to momentum around our ideas or more freedom in our life. We actually just jump right out of the frying pan. We think it's a frying pan, but it's actually a pretty stable 9-to-5 income, right into the fire where our finances can become really tight. And that in itself squeezes the joy right out of our lifeblood, which isn't a fun way to start living and working on your own terms, right? But isn't it funny that the freedom that we leave the 9-to-5 to create for ourselves in the first place is actually the first thing we sacrifice when we begin scrambling to build a business around our passions or expertise. Yep, funny, but actually very normal and totally unnecessary. It's usually only by burning out, another funny thing, it's only by burning out to some degree that we realize how important it is to take extraordinary care of ourselves as a strategic priority. So now that we know how to do that, which of course, if you're new to the show, go back and listen to season 1 to find out how to do that. But now that we know that, we can now focus on creating the life we really want instead of delaying what we really want to be doing and how we want to be living until some unknown point in the future that might never arrive. So instead of feeling like every day is a hustle, you can actually build your personal freedom into the bedrock of your future business right now so that you can experience more ease and joy in the day-to-day this week and next week and all year while you're figuring out how to make money from your ideas. And if you also hold close to your heart the bigger picture vision you have of the life you want to create, then you can also ensure that you create a business that will definitely help you create and sustain that. So let's make sure you're in the right place. You are in the right place if you tend to overthink and overwork, which actually drives you crazy with procrastination and busy work, but instead you'd love to turn your crazy ideas or multi-level business vision into a more focused strategic game plan. Or if you're in the financial crunch and feel like every week is a hustle and almost wish you did have a 9-to-5 so that you had at least some semblance of a work-life balance and a lot more space in your schedule to do whatever the hell you want. Or you're actually making money with your offers and ideas, but secretly you don't really enjoy what you're making or doing right now because really there are other products beckoning to be brought forth from your imagination and you want to be doing that instead. So if you are in one of those three groups or a blended version of the three, I am so excited that you're here because season 2 is all about embedding your personal freedom into the bedrock of your business foundation so that you can live the life that you really want to live right now. And it's all about enjoying living and working on your own terms while you figure out how to make money from your ideas. And of course, it's about working on the products of your imagination so that you can build the future business that will create and sustain the life you really want. And even as that changes into the future. But here's the thing. Here's a really simple secret I want to share with you. You really have to know what you really want, and then you can create that life right now. Because you can actually create it with or without your own business. You just have to know what you really want. And you can create it without a multi-million-dollar income that you might be thinking right now you need to enjoy absolute freedom and live the way you want on your own terms. Because listen, here's another secret. I have absolute freedom in my life and I don't make six figures in my business. In fact, I don't even make close to six figures. And I know that I don't even have a goal to make six figures. And here's why. My dream life does not cost six figures. So for the last 12 years, I've been location independent. I've been living and working on my own terms. I've been launching my ideas. I've been launching books and online courses and coaching programs and live streaming shows and this podcast. I've been working with incredible clients and companies, and I've been asking myself consistently, what do I really want right now? I think this question is important for two reasons. It's important because if I'm always asking, what do I really want right now, then I'm always making really high integrity decisions for my life and work that don't sacrifice the now. And it also means that I'm developing habits of thinking and patterns of behavior that set me up to create the future I want automatically, because 10 years comes anyway, 20 years comes anyway, but I'm already in the habit of thinking, what do I really want right now? So even in 10 or 20 years' time, I'm still going to be living the life that I really want right now. I really ask the question. I really answer the question, and therefore I get to create the answer. I really get to live the life I really want right now. And for me, that's living on the beach. It's living in 3 countries a year. It's working with exciting startups and companies. It's helping people with brilliant ideas to launch their ideas into the world. And it's making and publishing really cool ideas like this podcast that enable me to leave the world a little different than I found it. Do you know what it is that you really want? And it might look completely different to my list that I just shared with you there. What is it for you? Ask and answer that question. Now, hopefully over the next 20 or so episodes, you're going to get a crystal clear picture of what that is and how to create it for yourself. And I couldn't be more excited to help out with that. So heads up, the season is going to roll out into 4 parts, and here's my goal for each of them. Part 1, I want to encourage you to shift from autopilot to in control of the direction of your life and work. I want you to make it a strategic imperative to know what you really want. And as Jean-Luc Picard from the Starship Enterprise would say, make it so right now. And then you can craft better, more effective plans that make better sense for your goals without becoming overwhelmed or burned out in the process. In part 2, I want you to recognize yourself as your most important business building asset. Now, we talked a lot about this in season 1, and we are going to keep diving deep in this season 2 as well, because it's the single most important factor for achieving your goals. Now, when you thrive on all levels, you can stay in the game until you get the results you're looking for. And that's really all you need to do, because success is inevitable at some point in the future. In part 3, I want you to understand in your bones, really know in your bones, in every cell of your body, that true success for you is, yes, of course, aligned to what you really want, but also inextricably linked to your mental and emotional health and well-being. Now, you don't become happy when you make a multi-million-dollar goal, say when you make $1 million, but rather being happy now and consciously choosing it as a mindset state helps you work with more ease and joy while you figure out how to make that monetary goal. You see the difference? I really want you to consciously cultivate critical, strategic, high-level thinking around what you want to do and how you're going to go about doing it so that you can just literally get on with it. And in part 4, I want to invite you to focus on one thing at a time, which I know seems really counterintuitive for multi-passionate people, especially when everyone's encouraging us to be multi-passionate. Yet, here's the thing, without a laser-sharp focus on one thing right now, in every moment really, your thoughts remain scattered and you go around in circles, open and risking accomplishing nothing at all. So instead, I want to give you strategies for choosing your core priority focus right now so that you can become the most productive and focused version of yourself, generate results faster, and iterate until you get the results you want. And because you're focused and productive, you've got more free time to enjoy that beautiful life of yours. So, phew, that sounds like a lot, right? There is so much good stuff coming up in the season. So, of course, I want to let you know that I've created a podcast study pack for this season as well. Simply head over to the show notes at stephanieholland.co/28 to access this season study pack, where you're going to receive a worksheet for each episode and a video masterclass called How to Create a Healthy Tech Life, which I love. It's absolutely amazing. And also a ton of other multimedia resources that will help you launch your ideas so that you can create the life you really want right now. And this little pack is a steal at $27. And listen, if you don't want to invest in the study pack, but you love the show and you really want to support it, you can instead buy me a coffee. You can just head over to the show notes at stephanieholland.co/28, and you're going to find a little buy me a coffee button in the sidebar or the blog post itself, which is a very cool initiative by a growing startup called Ko-fi, Ko-fi, who are passionate about helping creators like me make money from their work. It really helps us stay ad-free and caffeinated so that we can keep creating the best content for you. So have a beautiful week, and I can't wait to dive deep into how to tackle the question, what do I really want? Next week, we're going to start, right? We're going to start pulling that question apart and then putting all the answers back together again so that you can create a life that excites the crap out of you right now. Can't wait. See you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode. I really appreciate you being here. Remember, you can get the podcast pack for season 2 by heading over to stephanieholland.co/podcast pack 2. Now, if you have any questions, comments, or inquiries, the best way to reach me is to DM me on Instagram via @StephTHolland, or head over to my website, stephanieholland.co, and hit up my contact form on the bottom right of the page. Your feedback points me in the right direction, so don't hesitate to get in touch. And if you enjoy the show, it would be so cool if you could rate, review, or subscribe. And if you do end up writing a review on your favorite podcasting platform and you want to pick my brain, simply send me a screenshot of your review and I'll jump on a 15-minute messenger chat with you. I've got almost 2 decades of experience in digital media and marketing strategy for the world's most formidable brands and business strategy for startups and people with awesome ideas. I'm here to help you create a rock-solid foundation for your ideas and to share simple tips for eliminating overwhelm and burnout and becoming more organized and visionary in your life and work. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you, and thank you again for supporting the show.